Let me describe a couple to you, and I want you to tell me if this feels uncomfortably familiar. James is a senior marketing manager earning $68,000 a year. Olivia works in cybersecurity making $82,000. Combined household income, $150,000. On paper, they're doing everything right. They live in a clean suburban neighborhood. They each drive a relatively new car. They take one decent vacation a year. Their friends consider them successful. Their parents are proud. And yet, every month feels tight. They have about $9,000 in savings. Their mortgage is $2,450. Daycare for one child is $1,400 a month. Student loan payments are $780 combined. Car payments add another $950. Groceries, insurance, utilities, subscriptions all stack quietly in the background. When the HVAC system broke last summer, they didn't pay cash. They financed it. They make $150,000 a year and still feel one emergency away from panic. If you've ever looked at your combined income and thought, we make too much money to feel this stressed, this conversation might hit close to home. Today we're talking about something I call double salary, double stress, the hidden cost of two incomes. We've been taught a simple equation. 2 incomes equal security. 2 incomes equal freedom. 2 incomes equal faster wealth building. Mathematically, it makes sense. If one person earning $70,000 can support a family, then 2 people earning roughly that amount should be thriving. Except that's not what's happening. Instead of double security, many families experience double dependency. Instead of financial freedom, they experience financial fragility. This is not just a personal budgeting issue. There's a deeper structural shift underneath all of this. Back in 1970, a large percentage of middle-class families operated on a single primary income. According to data from the U.S. Census Bureau, female labor force participation was significantly lower than it is today. That meant many households had one earner and one at-home partner managing domestic responsibilities. I'm not romanticizing the past, but financially speaking something very important existed in that structure: margin. One income paid the bills while the second adult represented unused earning capacity, a backup plan. If the primary earner lost their job, the stay-at-home partner could enter the workforce. That second income was insurance. Today, according to data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the majority of married households with children rely on 2 incomes. The backup plan has become the operating system. When 2 incomes became common, markets adjusted. Housing markets adjusted. Lenders adjusted. Lifestyle expectations adjusted. In many areas, housing prices reflect dual income purchasing power. Sellers do not price homes based on what one income can afford. They price based on what 2 incomes can bid. So let's go back to James and Olivia. Their gross income is $150,000. After federal taxes, state taxes, and payroll taxes, their combined take-home pay might be around $112,000 annually, about $9,300 per month. It looks comfortable at first glance. But then the fixed costs start stacking up. Mortgage $2,450. Property taxes and insurance $600. Daycare $1,400. Student loans $780. Car payments $950. Car insurance and gas $600. Health insurance premiums and out-of-pocket costs around $700. Groceries $900. Utilities and internet $450. Phones and subscriptions $250. That totals roughly $9,080 per month. That leaves around $220 before accounting for clothing, home maintenance, travel, medical surprises, or serious retirement investing. They qualified for their mortgage based on both incomes. The bank looked at $150,000 and approved them. But their fixed expenses now require both incomes to survive. There is no slack in the system. If Olivia loses her job, nearly half the income disappears while almost all expenses remain. If James burns out and wants a break, the math simply will not allow it. This is the core of double salary, double stress. Two incomes are not the problem. Two fully committed incomes are. Research explored in the book The Two-Income Trap by Elizabeth Warren and Amelia Warren Tyagi found that dual-income families were often more financially vulnerable than single-income households from earlier generations. Not because they were irresponsible, but because their cost structures expanded to consume everything they earned. When something went wrong, a layoff, illness, divorce, there was no buffer left. Think of it like running a business at full capacity every day with no cash reserves and no backup production line. Everything works until one part breaks. Two full-time careers do not just increase income, they increase complexity. Commutes, burnout, childcare logistics, constant coordination. When both adults are exhausted, convenience spending rises. More takeout. More outsourcing. Less time for cooking, repairs, and price comparison. These are not character flaws. They are predictable consequences of time scarcity. Lifestyle inflation also creeps in quietly. When two incomes become the norm, the house gets bigger, the cars get newer, vacations become more expensive, and social expectations rise. No one intentionally designs a trap. It forms gradually. Each decision seems reasonable in isolation, but together they create financial rigidity. When both incomes are required to maintain fixed costs, the household becomes highly exposed to risk. The house depends on two paychecks. The daycare bill exists because both work. The second car exists because both commute. If one income disappears, the system does not gently shrink. It strains immediately. That strain creates chronic stress. You feel it when you hesitate to switch jobs. You feel it when you tolerate a toxic workplace because quitting feels impossible. You feel it when one partner dreams of a career pivot but the spreadsheet says no. Double salary quietly becomes double captivity. But this is not about blaming dual-income families. It is about redesigning how those incomes function. Instead of treating both incomes as permanent and required, what if one income became foundational and the second became strategic? I call this the margin-first framework. The principle is simple. Structure essential fixed costs so they can be covered by one primary income. Use the second income primarily for saving, investing, and optional upgrades. This does not require quitting a job tomorrow. It requires reversing the dependency. Imagine James and Olivia in a slightly smaller home with a lower mortgage. Imagine one paid-off car instead of two payments. Imagine fixed expenses closer to $6,500 per month instead of $9,000. Now Olivia's income alone could largely cover essentials. James's income becomes leverage. It builds a 6-month emergency fund. Then a year of expenses. Then retirement accounts get maximized. Then investments begin compounding. Within several years, the second income begins producing investment income. Flexibility returns. James could reduce to part-time. Olivia could change companies without fear. A layoff becomes a setback, not a crisis. What changed was not their intelligence or discipline. It was their margin. Financial security is not just about how much you earn. It is about how much unused capacity you maintain. Optionality is wealth. Many modern households earn more than previous generations but operate with tighter margins. Fixed costs in housing, childcare, healthcare, and education have risen dramatically. The baseline cost of participating in the middle class has increased. The solution is not abandoning ambition. It is designing life with resilience in mind. When you preserve margin, you preserve choice. When you preserve choice, stress decreases. Double salary does not automatically mean freedom. It becomes stressful when both incomes are already committed before they arrive. So here is the question that reframes everything. If one income disappeared tomorrow, would your life collapse or simply contract? Collapse means panic and financial disaster. Contract means temporary discomfort but stability. The real hidden cost of two incomes is not daycare or commuting. It is the silent trade of flexibility for appearance. It is building a life that looks prosperous but leaves no room to breathe. If this resonates, you are not failing. You are operating in a system that rewards maximum capacity and punishes slack. But you can choose differently. You can design for margin. You can treat the second income as power rather than oxygen. When you do, the stress softens. Career decisions become strategic instead of desperate. Money stops feeling like a treadmill and starts functioning like a tool. That is when the realization hits. Not that you were earning too little, but that everything you earned was already spoken for. Double salary is not automatically freedom. Freedom comes from flexibility. And flexibility begins the moment you stop building your life at full financial capacity and start leaving room to breathe.